Hey everybody, welcome back to Seven Anubis Farms, and doing a little check on our new audio. So hopefully we don't have any more windy videos. I really hate that. It drives everybody crazy too. Um, anyway, so today we're going to take a look at some of what we've done in our garden for the spring. We finally got done with all of our planting. It's been really, I would say, a very busy month of time to get this all done. But I think we're finally there. So let's go through some of the things we've done in our garden, and we'll show some progress, and then we'll do this again here in a couple of months and show you how things have done since. So let's go see the garden. So we'll start off the garden tour here with some peppers, right? So we built this. So if you haven't figured it out, we kind of have an Egyptian themed farm thing going here with the logo and some of the other stuff, right? But you know, thought we'd give it a little touch with some of this Mexican feather grass, which I just think looks really fantastic. It grows here natively in Colorado, but I just think it has kind of a Nile-esque feel to it, right? Something you might see along the banks of the Nile, maybe not, right? But either way, I thought it looked cool, so we put it in. We've got a variety of peppers in here, everything from jalapeno to some cayennes. I've got some Jamaican reds in here. In the foreground, you'll see some little bushy guys here. These are marigolds. They're a good companion plant for your peppers. And so this kind of just makes up this little front piece right here. We'll kind of just keep touring around as we go, but we have some artichokes over here. All of these things really are coming along pretty well. The other thing I'd like to everybody to kind of understand is when we're in Colorado, right? You can't compare it to what guys in Alabama, Missouri, down south. I watch a lot of different folks do their gardening and farming channels, and some of these folks are way ahead, right? So it has been a unseasonably cool June here, lots of rain. Which is nice on one hand. I don't have to water as much. That's pretty handy, right? But it also kind of keeps that growth down. So, but we'll take a closer look at some of these guys and let you see them up close. All right, so you can come in a little tighter here. I'll do a little panning shot here. You can kind of see the setup. I'm a big fan of mulch, so um, with this arid conditions, we're basically a high arid desert here in Colorado on the eastern plains. So you want to be able to save as much water as you possibly can in your garden, right? So it's for weed help, but a lot of it has to do with moisture control too. Being able to not necessarily have to water as much. We put in a lot of drip irrigation too, as you can see. We have a combination of this, of soaker hose and some sprayers to cover the area, but also believe in water management that way too. And although it is fun to water, you know, by hand sometimes, I admit I do it too. All of this is on timers and it just runs, and I don't have to come out here and necessarily hand water the whole time. So we got a couple of really nice looking cayennes on this one. The cayenne kind of grows a little different. There's several green ones on here. So production has started. They're doing really well. I think I had another kind in here too. Oh yeah, ancho peppers. These are the anchos here. There's a whole bunch of them just about ready to start here. So I'm seeing a lot of flowering. Even the marigolds are starting to really perk up. I've got tons of flowers coming on. So we'll give this 2 or 3 more weeks and we're going to really be producing a lot of peppers. This is a good example of a jalapeno. I've got kind of a medium variety. I'd have to look and tell you exactly which one. Oh, kind of got a crummy leaf here. Let's pull that off while we're at it. I'm constantly pruning and pulling off stuff for these peppers. Some of them are a little behind. We did have quite a bit of wind for 3 or 4 days, so some of these got pretty windswept, which is kind of strange, but it'll actually just kind of whip your plant back and forth, right? And they're not very happy. But we're getting a lot of buds on this marigold, so we're going to have some color in here pretty soon. Pretty excited about that. Lots of peppers coming in. Okay, here's another quick look at the Mexican feathergrass. Wonderful looking stuff, I think. Looks fantastic. Got a little sun come out too. It's been a little cloudy and stuff today here. I think it makes for a nice touch. Oh, and we have some artichokes. So I've got two different tubs of these round raised beds with artichokes in them. This would be my first year doing artichokes, actually. So if somebody has any better ideas to tell me what I'm doing or not doing right here, but I think I'm doing fine because they all look really fantastic. Lots of growth. Um, we'll just keep doing the same thing we're doing now. Um, they seem to enjoy a fair amount of water, but I've got a lot of nice growth. The leaves look solid. I'm not having any insect problems, and using soaker hose and some more mulch per every bed pretty much that we have. And here we have our raised bed of lettuce or lettuce type stuff. I just kind of call it that, right? So on the left hand side, we've got a butter lettuce. In the middle, I put arugula. And over here, kind of to the right hand side, is spinach. So just kind of, there's only 3 of us here, and I really didn't intend to sell lettuce this year. So we're just kind of trialing everything out. Should be good for 2 people to be eating on those. Should be wonderful. So getting some real good starts. So a lot of this growth has just been this week. And by next week, though, I should be able to start harvesting some of this. The little plant in the middle is looking really good. So I've got 2 or 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3 beds of peppers of that same combination of Jamaican reds, cayennes, jalapenos. There's some Alma paprikas maybe in here. But that was the big focus for this year. Oh, there's sweet peppers as well. These guys here are all jalapenos. This bed in particular got fairly windswept, and I'll come in a little closer and you can see what I mean by that. And you can see the leaves on this plant. Right here, we kind of, looks almost like insects got a hold of them, right? But they really didn't. It's just from being windswept. So I'm actually just kind of pinching these off as we go. But hey, look at there, another cayenne right here next door. Same as the other peppers we looked at already. They're coming along. Here's another windswept leaf. As they strengthen back up, I just kind of pinch these off. We'll get rid of those, and the plant will become stronger for it. Otherwise, doing really well. Got another little pepper over here. I think that's a Jamaican red. Progress is being made. All right, over in this bed, we've got our CPTs, the Cherokee purple tomato. These guys I put in way late, so they are doing really well. They're probably about 10 inches tall right now, which is a little late for, we're getting towards, I guess it's mid-June, right? It's June 16th today. Mid-June, that's a little late, but they will go. They're going quick and they're growing very fast. They'll climb right up this old trellis right here that we've got, and they'll go right up here as they continue to grow. Right over here, you got some of the bigger brothers, some of the tomatoes that have been around for a little while now. These guys are probably 3-4 feet tall, doing really well. They're right on growth track here. These are mostly indeterminates, right? So we're going to climb those up you can see that we keep all the leaves pretty much. I got one little bad guy right there. We try to keep these things off like this up till about, this second row right here. That helps with disease and stuff for tomatoes, right? And it allows the tomato at the top to actually produce, right? Also want to keep managing your suckers like this little guy, right? We'll go through and probably once a week I'll go ahead and get rid of all the suckers and re-trellis. Using these cattle panels, though, I tell you, really is working great. I've used a number of ways. The little clippies on this work just as well. The string method's great too. Nothing wrong with it. But if you have the cattle panels in a little room, put in some T-posts, this really works pretty well. You can see their brothers back here, and these are all, I want to say, Romas, but I may be wrong. They may be Amish paste. Regardless, they're doing really well. No flowering yet, but that's by design. We don't really want it. And when I say trim them off or clip them up, right, here's a good example. So these little clippies right here, these are pretty wonderful. A lot of people do use these, but they're really easy. Kind of just snaps on there. You push it and pull that back through, and they stay together. You can use them for string as well. They've got a little grip in here, and when you close it, it tightens on the string. Fantastic little clips, though. You can use them year after year. You can buy them super cheap, too, on something like Amazon. Anyway, just want to clip that up, and you can see as they grow, you're going to just clip it right to that cattle panel, and it'll continue to grow up over that. Once they get to the top of the cattle panel, however, I'll probably use bamboo poles to kind of keep that last 2 or 3 feet up and going. As you can see, this is our bed of carrots right here. They're coming in really well too. I amended this soil a little bit with some play sand, along with some compost. I need to weed it a little bit, obviously, and maybe even thin it out just a little bit more. But overall, the carrots are doing really well. I'm fighting the weeds just a little bit for a raised bed. I'm not sure why. Probably because I just haven't weeded them in the last couple of days. Anyway, it's kind of funny. Like, if you garden, you just kind of just naturally just pull weeds, even if you're filming, you're doing stuff, right? So anyway, but these are the carrots right in here, and they're really looking sharp. I'll probably go through and thin them just a little bit more. You're supposed to thin them out to about every 2 inches. Some of these are a little touch close. Thinning them out just is as simple as just pulling them out, right? Nothing really to it. Oh, sounds like the geese are in the background making a ruckus over there. Anyway, the carrots are doing really well. Pretty happy with this. Another crop that I decided not to really sell this year. Should I want to sell carrots, I'll probably do these in a great big row and mound them or do something else a little bit different, right? But this is kind of for personal consumption this year, the carrots, and this should provide plenty for us. We do eat a fair amount of carrots and add them to stews and soups and some other things that we might do for canning. Hello, grass-like plant thing, whatever you are. I should know what this is, but some of the natural weeds that are around here are not really even weeds. They're just more like forage grains, or some of them are actually wildflowers, and I like keeping them around. I think there's a certain amount that kind of keep your garden looking really natural, as opposed to completely manicured, although, you know, I'm telling you that as I'm pulling weeds. Just a quick shot of our cucumbers. They're coming along pretty well. I put in, oh, by the way, those carrots are Danvers carrots. And these are Boston pickling. Same concept as the tomatoes. You'll just wait for these to grow just a little bit more. And you guys know how the cucumbers go. They'll start vining right up on top of this. And they'll just grow right up this cattle fence right here. And makes it nice and easy for picking them and doing some pruning work on them, right? No flowers or anything yet, but we're right on track with these guys. For Colorado, this is about right for mid-June. I'll show you this in another month. This whole trellis here will be just completely and totally full. And these are, I think, 6-foot panels. So I'd have to say one of the more impressive things that we've got going around here are the potatoes. Look at all around me. These potatoes are doing great. We got them mounded this week. So they were in a shallowed out ditch, right? So you shallow them out, plant your potatoes, cover those. This is their first covering. So we'll do this probably 2, 3, maybe 4 more times. We'll see. We'll have little ditches that run through here, and each one of these will now turn into a mound. We got the first covering in though. They're with all this rain, they're doing really well. Nothing to them, very little maintenance, hardly any weeds. No concerns here. Soil preparation for these was adding a fair amount of compost, tilling it in, and then we've actually used shovels and everything and hand dug this all out, just to get a little more touch with your land and know what you're dealing with. I think this soil has got a little bit of a sandy aspect to it, hardly any clay, which is fantastic for potatoes. I'm really excited to see what kind of yields we can get out of these guys. This half over here is a white potato, and I'll have to put in the comments or flash that up for you on which kind it is. And then I've got reds on this side. Quite a bit though, looking pretty fantastic. And here's the beginnings of our wonderful pumpkin patch, right? They're actually right on time. That is a weed. That is not a pumpkin. The mounds, though, are actually pumpkins. So they're doing really well. I think I did pie pumpkins this year, not jack-o'-lanterns or the great big kind you see at the state fair, just pie ones. They're about this big. But I'm hoping with this whole area that we'll get, I don't know. Gosh, the more pumpkins, the merrier. I have pigs. Pigs love pumpkin. Dogs love pumpkin. It's all very good for their digestive systems. If you don't know that about your dogs, do a little research. Check it out. It makes for a great dog treat even, right? Yeah, the pumpkin, you can whip that up, freeze it into little balls, and then give it to your dogs as like a little treat, like a dog biscuit if they're doing really good. As I look around, I guess I do need to do a little weeding. I was on the fence with laying down some layman to do some weed suppression out here, but I really think that the pumpkins will do their own bit of doing that with the big cover from these big leaves. I think as long as I come through here with a stirrup hoe and get rid of some of the major stuff, I think as long as I keep that down for a little while longer here, the pumpkins will basically self-maintain. But nice start to a pumpkin patch. This will be a lot of fun to visit with you guys in the fall and show you how much this has grown. Okay, and here we have our much awaited asparagus. This stuff here is taken forever, but this is asparagus. And I'll have to get in a little closer and show you what I mean. It's taken forever. I put in 60 asparagus plants, and I think I have about 15 now out of that have actually taken. Super slow. I almost gave up. I almost actually just ripped the whole thing out and was just going to start over. But I do believe that we actually have some that's finally coming up, and I'm pretty excited about it. There you go. So now you can see it real close. That little spear right there, that's what it is when it comes up. This one's got 3 or 4 spears, if I can find it. Where'd it go? This one's got 3 or 4 spears. Starting to look better, right? You wait till these are about 8 inches tall, and then we're going to get some more dirt put on these, right? I know they're a little difficult to see, right? But there you go. There's another one right there. Starting to get a little weed pressure. I should probably get some of this, but as long as these mounds stay fairly clear, that's the real ticket. Pretty excited about the asparagus, though. In 3 years, it's going to be one of our bigger cash crops, I'm hoping. So when I say strawberries, for those of you who have not seen the strawberry video, we put in about 1,300 strawberries. I'll give you a quick view, just to kind of give you a little perspective on what I'm talking about. We go all the way back into the tree corner back there, right? And then keep going. And just keeps on going until we hit asparagus land. It's a lot of strawberries. Staying up on the weeding, it's kind of challenging, kind of not. It's not too bad. You can really weed most of this if you stay on top of it. In a couple hours, which really isn't that bad. One of the more exciting things that we plant is the Three Sisters. And so it's a combination of beans, corn, and in pretty much any kind of squash, pumpkin, any kind of vining plant like that. This is my wife's specialty. She really likes to do these, but I do it too. I think it's really fun. And these are coming along fantastic. Really pleased about these. Growth on these is just about right. Even the corn's about the right height. Um, Super pleased. So the theory behind it is that the corn will grow up, and then the beans will have something to pull. And so these are pull beans as opposed to bush beans, which we'll take a look at later. So the theory is that the corn will grow up, and the beans will then grow right up the corn stalks, because these are pole beans, right? And then the squash, I think we use summer squash this year, and which is right here in the foreground now. And the squash will kind of cover the entire bed area, keeping the weeds down from the corn and the beans to grow. The beans also supply nitrogen to the soil, where the corn is a receptor of that. And then the corn will thrive because the beans are injecting that nitrogen into the soil. So there's like a symbiotic relationship in the Three Sisters. Decent progress mid-June. Pretty pleased with this. Just like everything else, we'll show you what it looks like here in another month or so, but right on track. Do you ever get the feeling that somebody's watching you? Just you're not really sure what it is. As you look around, you're kind of like, what the heck is going on? But there's somebody watching you. Oh man. Just to show that we're not a bunch of fake people out here, man. This is my onions and my bush beans. We're gonna have to fix this. You can see I kind of started in the corner over here already. All right, I finally got all this weeded, or at least most of it. I'm sure you guys can point out a few that I missed. But we've got some nice looking onions coming up. This is a combination of onions that I did from seed this year, and I got some starts as well. The funny thing is the ones that I did from seed actually look a little better than the starts. The first row on the right is the ones I did from seed, but they're all catching up, looking good. And we can go on to the bush bean area, which is somewhat expensive. I don't know. It's pretty nice bed. It's about 40, 50 feet long. I'll do a little panning version here. Got some empty spots, like I said earlier. But that it's just mid-June, we'll go ahead and probably plant some more and fill in those gaps. All right, so this year we put in black beans and navy beans, which we use quite a bit of for soups. There's a little gap right there. We'll get that all filled in though. I think the beans are turning around just about like everything else down here. Looking good. Well, yet another afternoon thunderstorm coming in. Not sure if you guys can see this really well or not, but that's the the rolling waves of green. So if you feel like you're not around the ocean enough, and you just stare at what is over here, we're looking at as a field of barley. But it is a little mesmerizing. You can sit and watch it all day long.